check to make sure this is live.
Yeah, we're live.
Are we?
Yep. Dusty says, "Hey dudes."
Hey, Dusty.
Chris is looking awesome.
Yeah, this should work pretty well. We've used this system before, so.
Hey guys, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to let everybody pile in first before we start. So we're going to give it a few minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll start.
Yeah, we'll just let everyone come on in and
He says, "Nice haircut, Stephen."
it does look good, huh?
Yeah. To beat the rest of the team, he doesn't have to do much.
Whoa. This is
Justin gets style. Justin gets style points though.
Yeah, man. You don't like him to look on this beard? This is like a 6-year beard, okay?
Not many people can say they have a Canadian Amish guy working for them, okay?
He's the main character in Breaking Bad Canada for the next season.
Tayson's banned for mentioning peanut butter.
Crunchy.
It's
Cream.
No, whoa. Smooth is the is the devil.
Smooth the devil.
I gotcha. Hear that? Chris was agreeing. He said, yeah, before he even knew what I was about to say. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
We ready to go, Justin?
Yeah, whenever, man. We're good to go.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We wanted to bring everybody in from the community, and first and foremost, thank you guys for being a part of this experience and journey we have created as Grudge Match Gaming. We'd like to sit down with you guys tonight and go over some of the things that we've been working on for the last several months. I know that the team itself has been working on GMG for the last 9 months, almost day and night. We have put a lot of hard work into this. We have a lot of different features that we'd like to talk to you guys tonight about. We also have some exciting announcements that we will give out. And once we are done with the presentation, we will take questions for 10 or 15 to 20 minutes, however long, and try to get a lot of these answers to you guys that you've expressed to us in the Poll Me of Discord or other questions that are asked constantly on Twitter. We definitely want to address these things. And like I said, most of the presentation should answer a good portion of the questions you guys have. But whatever is left out, we will surely get answered. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Chris and allow him to go ahead and start.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, guys. For those who don't know me, I'm Chris. I'm just going to talk to you guys a bit about the esports industry. So I'm just going to share some stats with you. So I guess esports, everyone knows it's exciting, but it's broken into a few things, and the main one is viewership. and this one's the audience growth over time. So between 2016 and what's expected for 2021. It's split into occasional viewers and esports enthusiasts, and both of those categories are growing. I guess in 2017 there was 335 million viewers, and by 2021 they're expecting 557 million. And I guess the viewers is important when we start talking about gambling, because it's not just players, it's people viewing games and interested in the result of games. And a lot of that rise has been through viewing platforms. Twitch and Mixer and YouTube are all jumping on the esports game. So, second, we look at the audience, people aware of esports, and again, it's climbed over time from 809 million up to 1.57 billion is what's expected this year, and it's definitely on track to hit that. So I guess between viewerships and awareness is where big brands come in, and they come in with big, deep pockets, and they want to get a piece of this viewership and this awareness. They want to get involved. But it's not just the big companies splashing cash. I guess it's people as well, people playing for games. So this is a breakup of all the revenue growth over time. So from 493 million in 2016 up to 1.6 billion expected for 2021. So as you can see, it's a huge amount, and in the circle there, 1.38 billion of that is from brand investment. So that's where the big brands have really come in and stepped up their investment over time. I guess that leads us on to my favorite graph, which is the video games in comparison to music and films. So blue's music, green's your films, and video games, esports is the yellow, and you can see it's just dwarfing those other massive industries. And like your music includes all your big blockbuster music, all your back catalogs. Films is all your blockbuster releases. So you can see the effect there video games is having, and just really just powering ahead of all the other industries. As far as revenue goes, it's broken into advertising, sponsorship, the main ones we're looking at, and they're the big chunks of this pie. Advertising is important to us and sponsorship is important to us. But what this doesn't include at all is basically a new segment, which we're looking at player to player money changing hands. So people playing each other, betting, playing against each other. So that's a whole new segment that isn't even included in this yet, that we're sort of carving out. And the other thing that isn't included in that at all is gambling on esports. And revenue from gambling on esports is expected to hit $30 billion by 2020. So it dwarfs this whole industry as it is at the moment. So my last one is a graph with gambling included. So you can see there the including gambling on esports, and we're just in a different world altogether. So a very exciting industry, and we've got some great solutions which the other guys will talk about.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Chris. And yes, I mean, one of the biggest factions for us was being able to assess what these other competitors brought to the table, and being able to look at these other platforms and really understand, where we were going and what we needed to achieve to build. I'm having a little problem here, guys.
You might have to stop sharing your screen first, Chris.
Oh, no, yep.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. So how do I want to start this out? Okay, let's do this. This is what I want to share with you guys. This is the profile pic of Grudge Match Gaming. As you will notice with our dashboard that we have, this is one of the reasons that first and foremost, we wanted to launch Grudge Match Gaming a little earlier. And one of the big things that we were pressed with was obviously updating the UI, meaning making it aesthetically pleasing, to make it, to where we could add in all these different features that these other platforms didn't have, and still do not have. So one of the big things that, well, our biggest goal was to assess what these other platforms provided to their customers and see how, one, we could build better features than them, and number two, understanding the demographics of what they had to offer. What I mean is, like with ours, you have a trust score, you have multiple different games. That one of the biggest things that we found, that was going to be a big advantage of ours. If you play on some of these other gaming console or some of these other platforms, like Game Battles, like Call or Checkmate Gaming is another. A lot of these platforms are, one, they are strictly fiat based. So what that means is you have to, one, pay a subscription just to get on the page. Then you have to turn around and buy credits to be able to even play the top 5 or 6 games that they have on this platform. With Grudge Match Gaming coming out of the gates, we will be releasing all of your newest and latest and greatest top games, but we will also come out with 50 total, at least 50 plus games where individuals can play one-on-one and in team operations against each other, where that is suitable on that game or platform. With those different games that we've been able to put out there, we've also stepped it up, and I wanted to show you guys just a little different comparison of some of these other other competitors, to really give you an idea of where we're at and where we're going with Grudge Match Gaming itself. Here we go. Let this set for a minute. Now, this is one of our leading competitors. With that, they have a very nice array of, and this is probably, out of all of the esports, this is probably the best UI platform out there besides Grudge Match Gaming, but there are far differences between ours. Well, like I said, you have to pay for a subscription on this on this link. You have to turn around and then you have to buy credits just to participate in different matches. To do so, then you have to have a certain amount of credits to be able to withdraw that to your bank account, which may take 10 to 12 days. With that being said, with Grudge Match Gaming, you will be able to do multiple different things as far as logging on with different currencies that you do not have to pay a subscription for to start with to play. You can come on and make a bet 1v1 for $1 if you would like. There are no minimum or maximum bets on the 1v1 or on the player side of things. On the leaderboard, it's a little different, and I'll let some of the other guys explain that to you, how the leaderboard works. So being able to accept not only credit card payments on Grudge Match Gaming, but being able to accept Bitcoin and Metrix is going to be our way to bringing in multiple users, to allowing mass adoption across the platform, which not only to allow your customers to be able to stake their profits is such a large contribution without having to pay taxes on those said profits, and being able to stake them on our network and continue to grow their profile along with their pockets at the same time. So this is some of the small things that I wanted to add. There's other things, but I'm going to let Galen step in here and talk about some of the things with Grudge Match.
That was actually going to be Justin. Go ahead, follow up with that, Justin.
Hi, no worries. So I've only got a few small things. I took a couple questions from the community that I've been asked personally in DMs, or maybe questions that have been asked more publicly, like in general chat. Stuff that's more the internal working of GMG and kind of like how it differs from our competitor platforms. One of the things that I wanted to go over first, leading from what Stephen was just talking about with the competitor platforms, is a lot of these platforms are based on a strictly 1v1 or strictly team v team basis, but there's no actual like you would sign up to a tournament and you'd play specifically those people, but there's no direction for who you should be challenging, and there's no guarantee that you'll be challenged on these sites. And so when we were designing GMG and when we were coming up with that, we wanted to focus. Well, one of the main focus points we wanted to have was a different style of competitive gaming in that way. And so we created the leaderboard style. So on our site, every game will have multiple platforms, and every platform will have its own leaderboard. So with that, when you place on a leaderboard, you play a couple matches, you get a placement on there, and then your place on the leaderboard determines how much your match is worth to play. In this regard, there's also 1v1 and like team versus team on a very like a direct bet level, but the main portion of that is the leaderboard, where once you're on the leaderboard, you would challenge your way up the leaderboard. Hopefully, these people will be right within your skill level because you played a couple matches, you placed very well in your leaderboard. And so, really, the emphasis in getting people to have accounts that build their accounts up. The higher you're ranked, the higher your placement on these leaderboards, the more money you make per game, and the more money your team would make per game as well. And that way, it really kind of encourages an environment where everyone is playing each other, not just because they want to just play this random person because they like his username. It has a specific direction and a reason for it and a reward for that as well. In terms of the rank and continuing to have your actual value go up every time. There was also a few other questions, stuff like how do we judge a match that's been contested, as an example. So when you do a match, and let's say two people say that they won the match, that match goes into a contested mode, and we have real people and APIs that we double check and use to verify the game stream that you provided in order to ensure that the judging is done fairly and that whoever won actually gets awarded for that win. And if there's no way for us to verify that, it just gets nullified and you have to play another game for that win. And we're working with stuff like virtual refereeing software, which is some really amazing cutting edge stuff that will watch a screen or a game and judge fairly based on the amount of kills that are happening in the kill feed and who gets them, as well as ensuring that everything's playing fairly. Nobody's cheating and nobody's doing anything exploit wise. Really trying to make sure that it's a level playing field for everybody at all times. I think that's about the most of what I have.
Yeah. So unless anybody else has anything to add, so basically, as you can see with everything that these guys are laying out, our objective is to tap into this, obviously tap into the esports market. And how this affects Metrix is that by people utilizing this platform, it's going to be forcing an injection of liquidity and volume into our market, which will be bringing more traders, day traders. It will be getting people that aren't familiar with cryptocurrency involved, and there will be people that will obviously immediately buy in and then liquidate, their position in order to capitalize. But we're also hoping to to influence these people through the benefits of blockchain and specifically the Metrix network for being able to hold on to these, realize the benefits, and being able to hold on to these coins or utilize these coins and stake them, or continue just using them on the platform and stacking more and more. So that's really our base objective here and how that's going to affect the Metrix market. And to kind of touch base on a question that had been brought up to me recently through I believe our Discord. there were questions about marketing. What's the plan for marketing GMG? Well, we're still in this very preliminary phase, in this baby stage, just in infancy. But since we've decided to, and I'm not sure if we've made this public yet, but what we've decided to do is actually launch with open beta. We've had a lot of people that wanted to be engaged, and we had closed beta at first, just kind of getting the fundamentals down. And now we're planning on doing open beta, so that everybody that wanted to be involved can now be involved, especially with the new UI, because that's another reason why we haven't released just yet, is because we decided we wanted to update the UI, as Stephen was explaining. And so we're actually in the process as well, to get back to the marketing. We're actually in the process of gaining funding as well. I know I've personally been going around and dealing with everything from pitches and negotiations, and just checking temperatures and seeing where people were at, just to kind of gain some funding, because ideally we have 2 marketing companies that we'd like to work with. One for sure is extremely qualified, has experience in the gaming and esports industry, and held specifically the director of this particular marketing company, has a lot of experience and held some pretty high positions within this industry. And what we're looking at doing is having a rollout for launch, a minimum of 3 months, but most likely a 6-month campaign. So, and that will be obviously after our open beta, when we officially launch. But so anyways, that was just a question that I had seen, and I figured I'd get that out while I had the microphone. So.
Well, I think that people need to understand the transition that is taking place here. No longer will we have to attempt to appeal to speculation or to speculators as far as trying to appeal to investors. And that doesn't mean we're going to abort our community by any means. We're actually going to try to draw you guys in closer and grow. But the thing about it is we no longer have to appeal to that with this platform. This platform allows, like Galen said, a forced injection of liquidity that, no matter, what happens, if you look at some of these competing or some of these leading competitors, some of our lowest competitors are ranging anywhere between 11 to $15 million a year in revenue as far as some of these sites. Now, once you compute those into transactions amongst the blockchain, you can imagine what that kind of liquidity will do for our coin. Those are the type of injections that we are looking to put full force into the Metrix blockchain. And that's what we have every intention to do with GMG. I think that's what gives us this cutting edge amongst a sea of dying low cap coins. If you're no stranger to looking at the market, you'll see that a lot of these low cap coins, and either coins that were altcoins that were considered hot topics a year and a half ago, Verge over 2,000. Now they're under 50. So a lot of these things I think are starting to equate to a lot of these coins not having real use cases. And I don't mean just like a feature in which, they can spend their coin to get a product. Yes, that's nice, but that's not going to be adopted at a quick pace. With this form of, injecting every one of these, any form of revenue that comes into GMG will be a transaction within the Metrix blockchain on the exchange. So for that to happen and us to start, really launching GMG like it needs to be, it's going to create a force of liquidity that, one, like Galen mentioned again, is going to be good for day traders. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot better in a lot of different factions. So this is definitely the aim in which we are going. I just want our community to understand the transition that is taking place here. And, it really is going to be very exciting to watch this thing grow organically without anyone or, any single entity being able to stop it.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing to take away from it, is just that it's finally real utility that we've been able to really think about and really plan over the last probably 6 months or so that we've been putting our effort into this platform. And I think it's something that not a lot of other currencies have yet, is a platform that has a genuine use. I mean, you could look at some like, Send or other coins that may have a platform that is at least useful, but I don't think it'll have the same reach that we're going to have with how many people are going to be playing, how many people are going to be betting, and how easy we've made it to get metrics. In the next little while, you guys will hear about that, but we've made some big changes, and we've made it a lot easier to obtain metrics and use it, and we'll continue to do so.
Right.
Chris, you want to explain some of that? How they can now start to get metrics easier?
Yeah, I can show the Altitude wallet if you like.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, that'll work.
Bring it up.
So this is the new Altitude wallet that you'll have very shortly, within a week. Basically, there's now currency selection. So you see I've got it in AUD for currency. Other features, there's desktop notifications, which is very exciting. So it'll notify you when you stake or masternode reward. There's one press masternodes, which is very good. We know that from my staking wallet. So you come in, put 2 million into address, hit start, and they'll start. That's done. You don't need to mess with anything else.
Yeah, no more config files.
No more config, no more headaches. Our support guys are going to have nothing left to do. There's price graphing on the dashboard, where it shows the price throughout the day, and you can change that by day or week or hour. But the most exciting one is this new feature called Metrix. We also have the website biometricscoin.com. But basically, you just need to put in how much BTC you want to send in. It'll work out how many metrics you're going to get by looking through the exchanges and the best way to buy it for you. You put in your Metrix address and you hit swap. That gives you a BTC address to send your 0.2 BTC to, and you'll automatically get your your metrics through to your address that you've provided. Now I owe them all a beer for saying first to say Linda. So it's a very exciting feature that's in wallet plus the site buy.metrixcoin.com.
It's up now, so you can visit it if you like.
Yep.
We will continue to be adding new programs to the Altitude wallet as well, probably in the future. I can't give too much information out about that, but you're going to see some other stuff being added, some other applications being added to Altitude that'll hopefully help its usability and the usability of our other products as well. So.
And Joe mentions how's it get included in volume. Any buys through here or through the back end of GMG are automatically put through exchanges, so they're included in our current volume on exchanges.
Yeah, so after we go live, as revenue starts to come in, as people start to play the platform, every time money is deposited, that's a buy on the metrics on the markets for metrics. And that's how it'll work as far as forced liquidity within the platform itself.
Hey, just to touch on marketing again real quick, but I had mentioned in Discord the other day, we have come to terms with a fairly large esports team based in the United States. We are not going to be giving the name of them at this point, so have fun guessing. They are going to be our streamers for us. They're going to be help spreading GMG around. They have a decent amount of streamers, as well as physical products. And then as we get closer to GMG launch, we'll launch or we'll release what terms are with the streaming team and or possible teams by that point. Also, what incentives for players there will be.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that everybody watching has heard Galen say open beta, and they kind of want to know when or how that's going to take place. Well, currently we are looking at trying to open up open beta by the 15th of this month. So in 13 days from right now, we hope to have open beta open and do open beta to test. We want to do one last test with the UIs with anybody and everybody that wants to come in. The more people that test the platform, the better off the platform, and any kind of kinks that any small things that we have not been able to identify will definitely help, because we hope to do live beta for a couple weeks, possibly 2, maybe more if needed. But we hope to be live by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Chris, are you going to drop the other thing?
That's another big thing too.
That would be for Steve.
The other large thing for today?
It might be Steven's thing. He has worked.
Was it Steven's thing? Steven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit it.
All right. Well, I know you guys have asked multiple times about exchanges. I'm happy.
And that's all we've got.
And that's
We're glad you.
I really appreciate you guys wanting to be on exchanges, and we'll check back in next time. No, I'm kidding. No, in all honesty, I know we have listened to you guys. We also have made many roadmap spots for getting on larger exchanges and doing things of the such. I am happy to announce that we will be listed on a new top 20 exchange within the next week. Until it is integrated, we cannot say who it is, but I was told within a week we will be live on a new top 20. That has just been pushed through as of the last couple hours. So these are things that we are trying to get set up in preparation for launch of GMG as well. We realize that there are many factors to this thing and many pieces to this puzzle that we want to put together to make these things, because you have to understand that opening up GMG for our community, it's not that big of a deal. You guys have all been in crypto. You're all familiar with wallets. You're all familiar with these things. Now the transition of getting a non-coiner to understand all of these things, the best way we found how to do that was streamline and make it as easy as possible. That's why the biometrics becomes a valuable tool that we can use within the platform of GMG, and also accepting credit cards. So when you walk up, you can put your credit card number in, it will give you that amount of metrics, and you can walk right into the site and play. There is no subscriptions, there is no minimum bets. You can withdraw any amount that you would like. Obviously, you have to have that balance within your account. But these are some of the small things that really we have listened to these professional gamers, along with, a lot of these professional gamers, they have to pay to change skins. They have to pay to change anything on their profile. Speaking of profiles, I want to bring Galen in for a minute, because there's something really special as far as one of the roadmap items for GMG that we are working on, and it's going to be a very near future roadmap, but it involves opening up the site to a whole different demographic. What I mean by that is we are going to open up a kids side of it as well, where betting will not be the main focal point, and metrics will not be, but it will be on a point system. And I'll kind of let Galen go into some of that now.
Well, that's pretty much what it is. We're going to be through our journey of finding partnerships and sponsorships and whatever the case is, funding. We've encountered some issues with obviously the gambling aspect and certain business models in the framework of other companies that actually don't want to, because they have kids or people, young adults that are engaged in their in their systems. They don't want to. They can't really afford to kind of encourage gambling. So and that's great too, because we want by opening the doors for these for kids to come in, and eliminating that gambling element, it's gonna, the demographic is just it's massive. So um, we'll be able to have, you know, a coaching section, you know, for people that are, you know, send their kids to, you know, esports camps. Um, that we'll give them the ability to open the door for kids to potentially get scholarships for esports that colleges are doing now. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially what's happening. Is the plan is a roadmap item is that we'll be having a different structure that for 17 and under. Not that it's actually considered gambling when it's head to head between two gamers, but it's still, you know, kind of incentivizing gambling. You know, we don't want to give that. We don't want to create any bad habits in youngsters. So yeah, that's the deal with that.
And you're talking about a subscription model for that sort of
Correct.
level, yeah.
Yes,
Correct.
There'll be a subscription model, and with the subscription model, there will be multiple tournaments where we'll give away anything from a controller to a monitor to a console to a gaming console to lots of different things that we can do with the tournament side of it for the younger ones. But it allows everyone to get involved because gaming really has no age limit, and we want to, you know, allow other people to also be a part of the site and not just be a gambling. I mean, I think that's adding, you know, a different spectrum to anything that is out there on the market currently from any of these other sites for sure.
Yeah, and that subscription model is just for the kid side of it, not the actual website.
Yeah, correct.
Also on marketing, we've also got the referral link, which I think is very exciting. It's sort of how Binance took off the way they did in the early days, is getting people to promote the site. And you don't need to be a gamer to have a referral link to promote the site, and you'll get a snip of every ticket. So I think that's an exciting option for marketing for us as well.
God, Chris.
They want more.
Chris, you want to read off some of the questions since you have the Twitch open, or to where we can go ahead and answer some of these questions? And you know, I know that one of the biggest questions that I remember seeing was the multi-level masternode. Also the reduction or the question of inflation and reduction of rewards in the near future or in the future, and also the 20-year plan. So I think those are the three that kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah, so let's start, I guess, with the multi-level masternodes. They want to know what the levels are and what the plan is to bring it in.
Okay. Well, with the multi-level masternodes, like I've said, we've been very busy with GMG. As far as the levels themselves, we have not put a concrete number on yet. That's why we did put it on the roadmap. I know it's coming to the third quarter. We are in the third quarter, but we are not there yet. I can say that with the multi-level masternode, the tiering of them, we are going to take a different approach than many of you think. Many of you have asked about a hard fork. We will not be changing the reward structure or the amount of money it takes to run your machinery. What I mean by that is by pairing these masternodes together, instead of it costing you X amount of dollars, we'll just say $50 a month to run that many machines to run your masternodes. Now we are able to cut that cost by probably 70%. So it will cost you a lot less money to run your machines with these higher tiered masternodes. Like I said, I don't know the exact numbers because we have not discussed them yet. We're trying to get GMG out before we release the multi-level masternodes. But I can tell you that it is more based on saving you money as far as running different types of tiers, if I'm correct, right, Chris?
Yeah, correct. Saving on needing several VPSs for several masternodes. you'd be able to roll them into one and receive the same rewards.
Correct.
Yeah, basically.
There's a few questions about buying in-game upgrades for Fortnite, for example, using Metrix.
No, it's not. I
No.
mean, it's not in our roadmap. It's like, like if Epic approached us, don't get me wrong, we would not deny the opportunity, but it's not something that we're looking at approaching them with anytime soon. Not until we've really put our foot in the esports market and have some more reputation amongst ourselves.
Chris, you want to explain a little bit, or at least talk about some of the stuff? I know because of the hard fork stuff, I don't recall the exact words. Superior.
Super majority is in the next version, the next upgrade that we have. So that means we're getting away from hard forks completely. Basically, once enough wallets roll over onto the new code, then it just updates automatically. So things like the multi-level masternodes don't require a hard fork anymore. That saves a lot of headache.
I see some comments about the reward 20-year reward plan. That's something that we're going to be working on. It's on the roadmap for last quarter of this year, which is, I mean, essentially the quarter we're in now, September, October, November, or October, November to December. What we're planning on doing is we're going to get a lot of community engagement for that. We really have to, we have a base plan in mind for where we want to be in terms of rewards and what'll be the best. But we also want to be able to work with the community. We're probably going to do some polls. We're probably going to do more Q&As in order to get a better idea of what will work best for everybody involved in the project, right? And to take everyone's ideas into effect with that. So it's coming up in the next quarter. It will be something we will be.
Yeah, perfect. And there's a few questions about merchandise for Metrix.
Yeah, well, I kind of voiced this the other day, but when we were asked to do merchandise for Linda, there was a lot of resources and time spent on that stuff, and it wasn't very. It didn't turn out very well. We didn't have very much merchandise purchased. It was like the community wanted it, and then when it was available, nobody bought it. So in all honesty, with everything that we have on our plate right now, merchandise is not a high priority whatsoever. I think the only time that merchandise becomes valuable is when we start putting on these venues and tournaments. That will be an opportunity for us to do a limited print or a limited edition to where we do 25 shirts and possibly, do 20 at the tournament and give 5 away on social media or something. I don't know if we'll venture back into the e-commerce of selling merchandise because once again, this is something that takes a lot of time and resource and also takes a lot of upfront capital with any kind of drop shipping and stuff of that nature, which if you're not selling those shirts like hotcakes or hats or stickers or stuff of that nature, really you've got money sitting there for a long period of time hoping for it to develop or at least be purchased. So that's something that in all honesty, it's a great idea. We will do limited editions, but I don't think that is high on the pecking order for a lot of the things that we have coming up.
I think it also depends on everything with GMG and how everything goes with adoption and it being used. Because I think before we'd even go with Metrix, we'd probably do merch for GMG.
Yeah, there will be GMG type merchandise.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And we have community members that also engage, like Dustin. Has a business that he runs as well with doing certain things with lamps, cool things. So there's things that you can get in little mementos. So yeah, but I think it'd probably be before we went with Metrix, we'd probably go with GMG. merchandise and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Shout out to Dustin on those lamps, man. Dustin makes some of the coolest lamps I've seen. I've got one on my desk upstairs. I don't have one to show you guys, unfortunately. I don't know if Steven has his with him. Or...
Dusty's lamps are definitely certified.
Yeah, there you go. Say something, Steven, so it switches to your cam.
He's just showing his lamp quietly.
You got to say something, Steven.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, let's see here. Let's do something cool. Maybe. Yeah, Dusty's lamps. Super cool.
Yeah, they're nice.
Not the name. The company's name is not Dusty's Lamps. It's just Dusty's Lamp Company.
And they don't get very dusty either.
They don't
No.
get dusty.
No.
Go figure.
False advertising. Really.
It is false advertising. Honestly, I'm appalled.
I did want to say I did want to say really quick to AC, he was asking about the ambassador program. We'll be sending out acceptance letters next week, and then also shooting out contracts. There'll be quarterly contracts, so we'll take care of that next week. So you'll be hearing from us.
Let's talk a little bit about that, Galen. Let's talk about where we're at with the ambassadors.
I just did. We're going to be shooting out acceptance letters and then the contracts this coming week, and then we'll have a set kind of hierarchy that the other ambassadors will be able to check in with our guy Guillermo.
I understand. Never mind, Galen. What I meant for Galen to say was that we have created an ambassadors program where we have brought on, I believe the current number is 11 different bilingual individuals that are very interested and willing to help us spread the word of Metrix. I think there are multiple different languages in different countries, ranging from Malaysia to Germany to South American, to Spanish to Polish, Czechoslovakian. There are multiple languages going across, I believe, 5 of the 7 continents. So we have definitely been working on this ambassadors program. We expect it to try to help with the engagement around the world, especially being able to hear the message in your own native language, I believe is one of the big language barriers that we have faced with trying to break into some of the other markets, because words do not mean the same. We all know the difference by if you've ever tried to use Google Translate.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the ambassadors program, as Galen said, the contracts will be going out next week. They will be limited contracts to where we do have expectations of the ambassadors, but there are also incentives and incentives and different ways for them to earn metrics while helping us spread the word of it as well. So this is something that we're very excited about, and hope that it's going to help push the word out more, along with the other marketing efforts that we have planned for not only GMG but Metrix as well.
Yeah. So you guys will start seeing tweets from Metrix Poland and Metrix Spanish and a bunch of other. I think there's, like you said, over 11 Twitter accounts that we've created.
Germany.
And we'll be
Yeah, Germany, Malaysia, I believe Ugandan,
Indonesia.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, Italy, Italian, French. Yeah, there's a lot of them. So.
Next question is Grunge, Nibbles, and Josh. I think we should probably do a shout out for those guys, as they've really Grunge is the best developer in crypto in my opinion. Nibbles and Josh have just been amazing helping them out. Grunge is actually at some sort of music festival today. It's his first day off in a few months, so we thought we better let him have it.
Yeah.
But those guys are just amazing. We really appreciate having them on and the work that they do for us.
Oh, absolutely. David Grunge is, a very big key component to what we've been able to accomplish, to the extent of our GitHub positioning of where we're at currently and where we're going to be once everything launches. I know he's got probably 1,500 commits by now that will soon be dropped on GitHub. So this platform has really pushed all of our developers to bring out their best. And, you know, I really want to say not only thank you to them, but also to Rami. Rami has really stepped up and helped us, you know, really put this UI out and, you know, make this site as aesthetically pleasing as possible, and also really tried to think about, you know, how as a gamer, what do you want to see? What kind of interaction? I mean, to really put a lot of thought into everything that's gone on and to build these things has taken a lot for these guys and a lot of dedication. So I want to say thank you to all those guys.
Yeah, as well as Oz. Oz has just been absolutely amazing with you know, creating graphical content and assets for us. So I mean, we'd be nowhere without him when it comes to graphics. So yeah, big
Oz Hacks, and Mickey for the walls he's doing, as long with Josh and the Killer Bunny Nibbles.
Yeah,
Killer Bunny.
Yeah, guys are awesome.
What other? Go ahead.
I seen a question about Linda X.
Okay.
Just kind of like, what about it? Really,
Okay.
I would open that up by just saying that we have plans. We do intend to be doing a Linda X rebrand because obviously its branding does not match the rest of our branding. It's just a slow process just because of all the things that we've got going on right now, and just how much we've been working on in the last 6-7 months. But
I guess it's progressing with the legal avenue as well for STO, so that I suppose it's not that we're not on it, it's that we're moving things in other ways, I guess.
yeah, like there's paperwork, there's learning about the market that we're headed to, really trying to find ways that we could penetrate it that isn't just your typical STO creation. You know, us, we really like to think through what we do and make sure that every move that we make is 100% thought out and is the proper move, because we don't have a lot of time to waste with our low resources, you know, the amount of team members we have, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I think that you know, once GMG is complete and live, the team's focus will transition to Linda X, because that is one of the next major obstacles that lie in front of us. Obviously, like Justin said, the rebrand will be first and foremost. We have a lot of different irons in the fire with it. I've been working on a couple different companies, trying to get them integrated into blockchain as well. Different companies as far as shipping container companies who want to use blockchain for multiple different facets. There are many cannabis companies that I've been in contact with and met a few of them already around my area and in California. So there's a lot of irons in the fire, but I will say that you know, Linda X will be coming, and that is the team's next focus as soon as everything is done with GMG.
Does the team have any plans for other use cases for Metrix?
Well, yes, we do. There are other factions to our gambling license, excuse me, that we will be able to address, meaning that we do have not one but 2 domains. So we have Grudge Match Gaming, and we have a whole open domain still underneath our gambling license that we will be able to use. And our plan is to obviously build something that will be another use case for Metrix. So GMG is not and will not be the end all be all for Metrix. It is just going to be one facet of a use case, but we plan on using it in multiple different applications.
With so many things going on simultaneously, can you expand the core team so things don't get too overwhelming?
I mean, we just brought on Rami.
Yeah.
It's slow and steady, I think.
It's slow and steady, yeah.
Yeah, you know, as far as expanding the core team, we would love to. The thing with expanding the core team, obviously, you have to have the revenue to do so. I don't know too many people that like to work for free.
Yes.
You know, if they're volunteers to work for free, my email will be in the comments below. Go ahead and send me an email. I would love to get you lined up. But you know, no, in
Hugs
all
and
honesty,
handshakes.
hugs and handshakes for.
Yep. And smiles, you know, just.
But no, in all honesty, we would love to. We would love to expand. We have started putting on, you know, different members within the community to do certain factions within the company. But as far as, you know, really being able to branch out really depends on the success of GMG and the amount of revenue that is generated to where we can logically and confidently say that we're at a point where we can expand with our employees or with other, because that's, you know, honestly, anybody that we bring on from this point on will be employees. They will be core members, but they will be employees of Linden Project.
Yeah. Stephen, can you comment on how the hedge fund meetings went?
They went well. We conversed, and you know, a lot of you have to understand with these hedge funds. First, you have to go through a preliminary introduction. You have to go through what they call a pitch deck. That's basically where you present your product and they take a look at it and see what kind of investment you're looking for and what makes them comfortable. That's how these things work. I can say that we do have a second meeting. I can, you know, what we are trying to put together is obviously seed funding to bolster not only the marketing for GMG, but really be able to catapult it with many different factions. What I mean by that is a lot of these partnerships, a lot of this marketing and stuff like that, even getting listed, as we all know, on new exchanges, that all costs money. Everything costs money. So that is one of the reasons that we are, I am approaching VCs and different hedge funds in the esports realm. We've gotten a lot of great feedback. I do not believe this is going to be a large hurdle for us to jump, but it is something that has to happen for us to really propel this platform.
Yep. Okay, great. David or Galen, can you tell us what games will be on for launch for GMG?
We don't really have the full list yet.
There's it's a lot of them, and
For launch, it's up in the air. However, the only thing I'll add is that for us to be able to add a game takes about 7 minutes.
Correct. Yeah.
I guess if there's interest in a game, we'll add it.
Right.
Yeah,
If it's compatible with our system and our framework, then we can add it. If there's interest in it and there's, you know, even a small group of people that would like to play it and engage on our platform, then we'll add that on. But I mean, it'll be over 50 titles. So you can imagine all the popular ones right now, all the popular ones from 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
And even brand new ones coming out the gate. Madden 20.
New ones coming. Yeah.
Brand new ones, all these types of genres that there are in games. I mean, you name it, we can put it on, as long as we can figure out a way to have it work in terms of betting and wagering and whatnot. It can be on there as long as there's enough interest.
Yeah, as long as it works with our systems for reporting and everything else that we use for making sure everything's judged fairly, then we can implement it without much of a problem. So we'll probably do a lot of community feedback on that. You know, as people play, as new games come out, we'll probably have a whole section where people can ask about what games or suggest games to us.
And you've got Google Stadia coming out, which is going to change gaming greatly, I think, with people not having to buy consoles anymore. So we'll keep moving and keep ahead of that.
Somebody asked if there's a messaging platform for GMG. There is, in fact.
Buddy, is there?
When you get when you get into a match, when you have a match, you have the ability to communicate with that person from challenge all the way till the end. There's a few other things as well. Everyone has the ability to set their own time zones. Like if you know you're going to be available from 6 to 10 p.m., it'll make sure that if you get challenged, it'll be within those parameters. or you have the ability to say no. You're not going to be forced to take a match that is not within your time zone, or that doesn't work well with you. But yeah, in terms of communication, absolutely, you have the ability to communicate with your matches and teammates and everything else on the fly as matches happen.
as well as a
And
troll box.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
also a troll box, where everyone can chat all together. Forgot about
There's
that.
definitely a
But-
troll box.
Yeah, the infamous
I
troll box.
think the recruitment is the other exciting avenue where you can put, if you're a free agent, if you're a professional player, and you're looking to get picked up from a recruiter. We're really heading down that avenue, and the recruiters are very excited to have a way to look through stats and pick people that they want to look at recruiting. So that'll be another great avenue for us.
Yeah, guys, you're really gonna love our player profiles and our setup for players and teams. I'm not sure how much we actually want to give away here, but it's gonna be a very professional / esports game type of profile setup, like a mix of let's say a mix of LinkedIn and esports for the most part. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, we even have a free agent section where you can apply as set yourself as a free agent. And if if you're a team looking for a player for a specific game, you can browse the free agents of that game, see those person's stats, what they've earned, everything else.
So, Turtle asks, how did you come up with GMG?
That was
Well,
my first.
basically from the grievances of other of gamers. It kind of spawned from that. A little bit of it came from our partnership with the PBL, because initially they wanted to integrate into Battle Token. They wanted to integrate some sort of betting system, or placing wagers, and then they kind of drew back from that a little bit. They withdrew because of potentially it being issues with security, with securities laws. So it kind of came up randomly in a conversation with them, and then talking to more and more gamers. The idea really just it gained traction. So
Yeah, and Oz the African bush elephant asks, is there a plan for any big dollar tourneys?
Yeah, there is actually.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. We haven't really come to terms with exactly what games we're going to be doing the tournaments on, but we do have plans for running, totally separate from the leaderboard and 1v1 matches. There will be actual tournaments that are, judged live. Hopefully we'll be able to be live streaming these with casters as well, commentators that kind of know the game, and they will be able to, you'll be able to tune in and actually watch this on Twitch or whatever. And the price points are open. Well, we've looked at anywhere from $100 to $10,000 for prize pools. It depends on what game and the type of players that we're trying to cater to for that specific thing. But we will be definitely coming out with rolling tournaments. You'll see on that UI there, on the UI, the screenshot Steven showed, one of the big buttons on the top is tournaments. And so that will be a focal point of the application for sure.
And not only with those tournaments that obviously would be within site, we plan on doing large venue tournaments. We have been in contact with esports leagues and different factions of esports where they are connected only to arenas, to where we've been looking at different partnerships with people of this such, because we have spoken to many large advertiser, or well, many large sponsors, I'll say, of these types of venues, i.e. Mercedes-Benz. We have talked to Monster Energy. We've talked to Red Bull. We've talked to a lot of these different factions, and that's when their interest comes in, is when there is a venue already set up that they can sponsor and throw their advertising behind. This is something that we've already looked into and are pushing forward with. And a lot of these details will come out here in the near future with tournaments that will be set up for physical on-site location, to where, you know, hopefully some of these tournaments we can even have some of the teammates join these tournaments and show face at some of these things.
Perfect. I think that's all the main questions that have come through on Twitch.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you see any others, Just?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I want to take this time to, like I said, thank you guys for joining us this evening, especially on a Friday evening. Some of you it's Saturday morning. For me here, it's Friday evening. But like I said, we really do cherish our community and really appreciate the support that you guys have shown through all this. And we hope that, you know, a lot of these new things coming out get you guys really excited, because honestly, this is probably one of the biggest things that's going to happen for Metrix Coin is GMG, at least momentarily, with the way the market is and the sentiment. It is literally setting up perfect for us to stand out like some of these other big use case coins. I think it changes the whole paradigm of us going from a low cap coin to where we want to be, and that's a top 100 coin spoken with real use case that has real purpose. So with that being said, like I said, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it, and we will see you guys soon.
Thanks,
And
guys.
any more questions, just post them in Discord, and we're happy to keep answering beyond today.
Yeah, we'll be in the chats. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the record, creamy is better than crunchy peanut butter.
You know what? I can't. No,
You did not do that.
I
You have
can't
ruined
even.
this whole video.
All
I
right, guys.
can't
Talk to you
even.
later.
Justin and
That is beyond.
Let's get rid of it.
It's unacceptable. Honestly, this is absurd.
Justin, did you end it?